These professional and experts changed the justice system almost entirely for the worse. Professionalized police forces were detached from the neighborhoods they patrolled, especially so as foot patrols were replaced by officers in cars. By the 1960s, enough northern prosecutors and judges doubted the legitimacy or effectiveness of criminal punishment to cause their state's prison populations to shrink significantly even as crimes powered upward. Page 194. I chose this passage because it highlights a major shift in American law enforcement and criminal justice policy, emphasizing how the professionalization of policing led to a growing disconnect between police and communities. This detachment contributed to declining trust, particularly in urban neighborhoods, as officers became seen as outsiders rather than community protectors. Stuntz also critiques the shift in judicial and judicial attitudes, arguing that as skepticism about punishment grew, crime rates soared, an assertion that invites debate. This passage relates to several key criminological theories and historical trends. For example, broken windows theory, developed by Wilson and Kelling in the 1980s, argues that visible signs of disorder, such as vandalism, lead to more crime, partly because of the breakdown in police-community relationships. The move from foot patrols to vehicle-based policing weakened these relationships, making it harder for officers to engage in proactive community-based crime prevention. Stunt's point about shrinking prison populations in the 1960s is also thought-provoking. It challenges the idea that mass incarceration began immediately after the Civil Rights Movement. Instead, he suggests that some early criminal justice reforms were too lenient, potentially allowing crime to rise before later policies, such as the war on drugs and tough on-crime measures of the 1980s and 90s. This passage also connects with community policing models, which emphasize the importance of building relationships between officers and residents. Modern reforms such as restorative justice practices and procedural justice aim to repair some of the damage caused by detachment Stuntz describes. Okay. I see this passage as timely because it highlights how well indented professionalism and the shift to more efficient law enforcement tactics can have unintended negative consequences. In this case, detachment from the community led to an erosion of trust and weakening of police-community relationships. The quote also underscores a broader shift in the criminal justice system that occurred during the mid-20th century, particularly in response to rising crime rates. While the professionalism of police force and the expansion of the prison system were created in order to address public safety concerns, these strategies often exploited problems of inequality and racial disparities, especially in urban communities. In modern terms, this detachment is connected to policing strategies like broken window policing. This is an important passage because it addresses the long-term consequences of criminal justice reforms that prioritize efficiency and professionalism over community engagement and fairness. In light of modern debates about police reform and defunding the police, this passage serves as a reminder that fundamental changes in policing strategies are not only about the tools or technology used, but also about how officers engage with the people that they serve. This passage also reminds us that reforms, even when well-intentioned, can have long-lasting negative impacts if not carefully considered in terms of their effects on the relationships between law enforcement and the communities that they serve. I use the collapse of American criminal justice as my source.